Good evening. It's been a very busy day with many meetings and breakout sessions and plenaries and so forth, and people are tired, but it's the good tired of new urbanists who enjoy working hard all day and then doing whatever they do later on in the evening. I want to just make a few quick announcements before we get into our program. We have the salons that start at 8:30, and that's always been a popular feature. We have some really great topics, and they'll be right here around these tables. And we're trying one other thing for people that find the cacophony of noise in salons, although it's really wonderful and it's really not that bad. And by having salons, we can have lots of participation, and you can be with a relatively small group of people and really dig into a subject. But we also have, we're trying something new, the deluxe salon, which, pardon the name, but there'll be a room close by here which we'll tell you about more later after I actually know which room it is. But it's right next to us here, and I'll announce that much later. But that one will be a sustainable town and neighborhood structures salon, optimizing public transport modes and the full range of urban centers, and it'll include the Australians, Wendy Morris, and Chip Kaufman, and also Bob Gibbs, Shelley Patricia, Rick here. I'll introduce him in a minute. And Doug Farr, a board member of CNU. And they'll be debating some basic things about sustainability and the environment. So with that, it's now my pleasure to introduce one of the leading reform transportation engineers, traffic engineers in the world, Rick Hall.
Thank you very much, John.
I hate to do this. I hate to be so sloppy about this, but I actually forgot something. I want to say something about the Athena Award. The Athena Award goes to people that have laid the basis for the new urbanism, that were working before CNU was formed and before the founders and others put together the charter and so forth. And we honor people like Leo Creer and many others. I don't want to go through the whole list, but tonight we're honoring Allan Jacobs, who has helped bring the boulevard back into popular use in the United States and Canada and throughout the rest of the world, and much greater appreciation for it, and wrote the Boulevard book along with his wife and Yodan. Oh God, the last name always kills me. But anyway, we'll get that later as well. But the Athena Award is the highest award anybody can get from the CNU, and that's why Rick Hall will be speaking now, is to praise and introduce Allan Jacobs.
Thank you, John. Get this mic down to normal level. Allan B. Jacobs is a keen observer of life, primarily urban life. He holds a Bachelor of Architecture cum laude degree from Miami University of Ohio, Master of City Planning from the University of Pennsylvania. He attended Harvard Graduate School of Design, was a Fulbright Scholar in City Planning, University College London. He's won a number of honors and awards, including Guggenheim Fellowship 1982, AIA Excellence in Education Award from the California chapter in 1994, APA Distinguished Planner Award 1985. notice these dates, they're in the 80s, folks, in the 80s. A fellow in urban design, American Academy in Rome, 1986, and the Kevin Lynch Award in 1999. Allan has many skills. Here's an image of him sketching. He's an excellent renderer and writes in his notebook every detail of any project that he happens to be studying. But as a member of the Department of City and Regional Planning, University of California, Berkeley since '75, and as a director of planning, City of San Francisco, '67 to '75, Allan added significantly to our understanding of urban place. And he pioneered the integration of urban design and local government planning. He introduced a plan that gave San Francisco some of its best places and still serves as a model even today. Now, urban planning based on basic observation and proven solutions and good urban design is now a normal part of new urbanism. Most charrettes accomplish this, but in the 80s, this was not so. In our limited time, I want to focus primarily on Allan's major contributions to the new urbanism through his two seminal publications on urban thoroughfares. Now, into this realm of contemporary roadway design practice dominated by engineers, there's a dry atmosphere there where there's a near absolute focus on the capacity of roadways. Allan's book, Great Streets, appeared in 1993, and it was like an oasis in the desert. Our wayward practice now, where design reports include, about 11 pages of text and 187 pages of tabular material on level of service printout from synchro traffic operations models. It was a great thing to see the emphasis on the character that Great Streets gave to us. This essential reference tool, Great Streets, can be seen in, whoops, I'm sorry, that thing on the right needs to go there. The Great Streets book will show up on charrette desks. There it is again. These two texts really are things you can observe among the drafting dots and the pins and the other items that are normally there for charrette workers. And when there is a point to be made about the designer's idea of a sense of scale that's correct, it's a very difficult thing to convey. But when the pin-up and the PowerPoint presentations, nothing makes the point better than Allan's brilliant 1 square mile figure ground images from the Great Streets book. It allows you to take Beaufort, South Carolina, and imagine that you could be Boston, or you could be Charleston, or you could be Savannah. And the images that are there for everyone to use in the back of these published books are excellent items for us to use to convey those ideas. By 1995, Allan had performed some important research at Berkeley that was funded by USDOT and Caltrans, by the way, on the classic boulevards, and Elizabeth McDonald and Jordan Rolfe helped with that research. And they studied the best boulevards in America and around the world and brought that information back to us in the way of publications, even before the Boulevard book was published. And some of this earlier material is really fascinating. They recorded conversations they had in working sessions. They would bring a boulevard makeover in drawing, beautifully drawn, and they'd lay it out on the table. And there was one comment that was especially meaningful to me. There was an assistant public works director who looked down at the drawing and said, well, from an engineer's point of view, there are many no-nos in your design. Many no-nos. He really, many no-nos. And he said the sight lines, for example, are not, you have trees blocking the driver's cone of vision in this boulevard, so it's unacceptable from an engineer's point of view. And ladies and gentlemen, that documents almost to a point what is wrong with our current design practice thinking. There is a complete, it's this complete overwhelming look at capacity. What's the level of service? What's the capacity? With no regard for character. So the Boulevard book in 2001, I love the title. It's the Boulevard book because it's the only Boulevard book. It's the only one we have. Has these beautiful drawings that are back to 1890 during the inception. This is Eastern Parkway and what it was drawn, and this is Eastern Parkway today. But the images that were in that book provided us with inspiration and gave us tools to actually begin to dare to design really great boulevard streets. Now, one of the key traffic engineer concerns that we hear about all the time are the conflict points that you see in the intersection. And Allan and Elizabeth and Yoden observed these day in and day out for their entire research. And they found these facilities are not all of that dangerous because of the low speeds involved. So when it came time to do the latest one, Octavia Boulevard in San Francisco, here's a proud Allan at the ribbon cutting for the Octavia Boulevard opening day. It was the first new multi-way boulevard that had been planned in the United States and constructed for many, many years. So these new boulevards are in different publications. Peter Calthorpe's Urban Network document has transit boulevards, and DPZ's Smart Code, the version 9.2 that's now out, has a BV 135-53 as its inclusion for this wonderful method for moving people and automobiles jointly. And it's my prediction that the multi-way boulevard will become the flagship thoroughfare for the new urbanism because it moves the motor vehicles in the center and the pedestrians on the side in a very, very comfortable manner. So, Allan, it's for your innovation, for your insight, for your inspiration to so many of us. I present you with the Athena Award with great pride.
Hi there. You're going to have to excuse me. I like to throw cold water on things. You know, it's great to write books. It's great when they sell. It is great when people come and ask you to autograph them. It happens a lot, and then every now and then you get asked, as I did not too long ago, to come to a major architectural office and talk about great streets. And I thought, and everybody, lots of copies of the book there. And we were all around, at 5 o'clock, and it just occurred to me. And so I asked, be honest, everybody, a lot of you know about the book Great Streets? And everybody said, yeah, we know that book. A lot of you own that book? Loads of people own that book. I said, now be honest, really be honest. How many of you have read it? And they laughed. And I've had that experience a lot of times. A lot of people buy those books. I think particularly people in design professions love to buy books. I don't think they read them. It's crazy. Anyway, long ago, I held that no one should get a professional award after they were 40. Just shouldn't do it. I'm not sure why, but I thought that you shouldn't. As I become more senior, I note that my position has changed. Maybe it's not such a good idea to give awards to young people. Certainly, Rem Koolhaas must have received early recognition and awards. And I'll bet you that that encouraged him. And as a result, possibly because of those early awards, we have the Seattle Public Library, urbanistically, to live with for centuries maybe. And I suspect that Tom Maine received early recognition and maybe awards. And San Francisco is now forever saddled with a simply terrible, out-of-scale federal building. On the other hand, maybe once you get to be a senior person, giving them an award is not such a bad thing. Give him an award. After all, how much more damage can he do? But seriously, I love and I really appreciate the award. Thank you. More seriously, I've been to a number of CNU meetings. I've been impressed, very much so, with the optimistic seriousness and professional concern with urban physical environments and their design that I've seen at these meetings, with full understanding that cities are as much economic and social institutions as they are physical places, and seemingly undaunted by academic accusations of being physical determinists, you, have remained focused on the arrangement and design of urban physical environments. I'm often referred to or even accused of being, a physical determinist in a pejorative way. Often, too, I respond with a question or two. Do you dress differently when it's cold and when it's hot? Or do you use an umbrella when it rains? If so, then you're a physical determinist. We're concerned with the physical environment as it relates to people. I've grown to admire the wonderful enthusiasm with which the organization and its members pursue their own studies and the sharing of their knowledge, the open sharing of their knowledge, not small business. You have not become corrupted by academia or academic theory. On occasions, in her last years, Jane Jacobs, an independent, if ever there was one, no relative, would ask me, Allan, what do you think of these new urbanist people? And I'd say something nice, and she'd say something like, yes, I do too. Hey, man and women, you can't do better than that. Thank you.